Today, I'm going to show you how to create these magical spooky drinks and edible potions for your next Halloween party. The things you'll need to create some spooky beverages and edible potions are some bottles and glassware. You can use any type of juice, water, anything like that, and I have some cranapple juice and a green apple sports beverage. You could potentially use some rimming sugars or some sprinkles. To adhere those rimming sugars and sprinkles, we will use some caramel, but you could also use honey. To add a really awesome effect to our potions and cocktails, we are going to use some edible Brew Glitter and some edible luster dust. You're going to want a straw to help with the mixing. And then I'm going to show you one of my signature fall beverages, and the ingredients you'll need for that are some apple cider, sparkling cider, some caramel syrup, some cream soda, and if you'd like to make it alcoholic, you can use some spiced rum, like I'm going to use, or you could use some bourbon, some vanilla, or caramel vodka. Whatever you think will sound good to you is what you can use for this beverage. And then we're going to use some dry ice to add a little spooky effect. Let's get started. Would you like a chance to win a prop potion bottle from me? Then consider supporting me over on Patreon. All of my patrons have a chance to win a potion bottle every month. Link is in the description down below. So the first thing we're going to do is I just want to show you how the luster dust and the Brew Glitter work. So first and foremost, this is the Gatorade Fierce, which I think is a green apple flavor. One, this tastes really great. Definitely feels very fall just because it is a green apple flavor. And it definitely already right out of the bottle feels very Halloween. It's like this really great, vibrant, potion-y green color. So something like this would be a great option to have for a cosplay costume to take to like a Comic-Con or anything like that because you're on your feet all day, you're walking around, so keeping yourself hydrated is very important. So things like Gatorade or things that have electrolytes in them is going to be helpful, and if you can make it look cool and potion-y, all the better. So I'm going to show you with this one, if we take some of the luster dust, and again, all of these are edible luster dust. These are not regular mica powders. You do not want to ingest regular mica powders. It's little bits of metal. But these are like sugar and gelatin and all kinds of stuff that they like break up and put in here. So we're just going to add a little bit, and then you can either physically swirl it around or take your straw, but when you mix it up, you get this really great swirling quality that just makes it look very magical. Now, just like regular mica powder, this will have the metallic particles settle to the bottom. The only difference is that your mica powder physically will all drop and it will leave whatever color you leave behind, which is what gives us our color shift on a color changing potion. Here, it's going to kind of pigment the liquid a little bit, so it's not really going to be a full color shift. You're only ever going to get a color shift when you initially add the glitter or the luster dust to the potion. Now, depending on what color your glitter or your luster dust is, you may get a little bit of a shift just when you stir it up, like you saw here when I went ahead and mixed this up. It definitely kind of added a little bit of a lighter glow to our juice than just the juice straight out of the jar. So just be aware that you may want to play with this if you are going to want to take this on, say, the cosplay floor or to a role-playing game, anything like that, or if you just want to have it as part of your Halloween costume and you want to have some really fun cocktails or juices for kids, anything like that. Super fun, really easy, all 100% safe, and because these are so fine, you don't taste them. You don't even feel them when you're drinking it. So don't feel like you're going to like have some kind of funky taste because of it. They're tasteless. They don't feel like anything. You basically just feel like you're drinking your beverage. But again, just know that as it slows down, it will stop. Now, if you put this in a carbonated beverage, the bubbles will help keep it going just a little bit longer. And then when we add some dry ice, that will also keep the little shimmery particles moving in your drink. But again, once we mix that back up, it's all going to reinvigorate that, and it's going to get the same swirling effect. So, luster dust dyes your drink a little less, I feel like, than brew powders. Now, I will tell you, these brew powders are really cool. So this is Brew Glitter, and I ordered these off of Amazon, and I'll put the link down below. But I want to show you how it adds pigment to your beverage. So this is just plain water. And I'm going to take the purple, This was a Halloween grouping they had, so it came with 4 different colors of the luster dust. So it came with purple, dark green, orange, and black shimmer. I will say the Brew Glitter is a little bit more expensive than, say, the luster dust that you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but they do give a different effect. So we have our purple Brew Glitter here, and I'm going to just add a little bit, just like we would when we add our mica powders to our potions. And then we're going to mix that up. Now, as you can see, we definitely get a different type of shimmer than we get with the luster dust. The luster dust is almost a finer particle than the glitter that they put inside the Brew Glitter. So you get this really, really great sparkly effect, and it definitely pigments the liquid that you have in there. So if you start with a different color liquid, you're just going to get whatever the mix would be. So like say I added this to a green, which we're going to do here shortly, you're still going to get essences of the purple, but it's going to make your green darker just because you're adding purple. And then you're only going to get a little hint of that purpley tone to it. So I am going to show you how we could potentially make a drinkable version of our Wig and Weld potion, essentially, with the Brew Glitter and some of our green beverage here. But I just wanted to give you a basic rundown of the 2 different types of shimmer that you can add to your beverages. Okay, so to make our drinkable potion, let me move this out of the way a little bit. We are going to start with our green base. Now, you could do water with this, and then you could just use a little bit of food coloring to make it green. But like I said, it's always a nice added plus that you have a beverage that tastes good and will help you keep hydrated, with some electrolytes. So that's why I opted to go with the Gatorade. But like I said, you could do whatever you want. This could be a juice. This could be a cocktail. I don't recommend, if you are going to make this a potion bottle that you're going to carry around, I really do not recommend you doing a carbonated beverage, because as you shake it up, it's going to want to pop the top off and it's going to go all over the place just like a shaken can of pop will. So make sure that whatever beverage you put into an actual potion bottle, that it is a flat beverage that does not have carbonation to it. Okay, and then we are going to add some of our purple Brew Glitter. Now, as you can see, it changes the color of our potion. And I'm not sure if it's going to pick up on camera, but you can tell that some of the glittery swirls that we get have a little bit of a purpley sheen to it. But as you can see, it is not a color shift like we would get with the mica powders when we'd make our actual prop potions. But you do get a little bit of a purpley shimmer in here. Now, as those shimmers sink down to the bottom, your beverage will be darker than it was initially, and then it'll lighten up and add that little bit of a purpley pinky vibe to it when we shake it up or stir it up. So just like here, see how it's kind of separated a little bit? Now, the second that we stir it up, we get all of those shimmers back again, but it does change its color a little bit when the edible mica is basically stopped moving. So I want to add a little bit more of our green to this. But as you can see, this just makes a really, really cool effect that I think would be fun to carry around on a costume. So I'm going to close this up. And you get this really, really awesome swirling effect. And like I said, you do get some little hints of like the purpley pink color in there. Now, if we would have added the dark green to this, it does make it a very dark green. Like I said, the Brew Glitter definitely has a little bit of a pigment to it that it colors your liquid. So it's your liquid will never be the exact same color it was once you add the Brew Glitter. So I'm going to show you an easy way to rim your glasses. Like I said, I like to either use honey or caramel. It just kind of depends on the type of beverage I'm doing. But I like to just make a simple circle on my plate. And then we take our glass and just kind of swirl it in the caramel or the honey. Let the excess drip off. And then I have some of my sanding sugar over here in a bowl, and I just put a tiny bit in there, and you literally just kind of stamp it around in the sanding sugar or the sprinkles or whatever you want to add onto the rim of your glass. Give it a little tap, and we have a perfectly rimmed glass that will taste good. Because there's nothing worse than a rim that just doesn't taste that great. So now that our glass is rimmed with some sugar, I'm going to show you a really fun trick you could do at a party, and it could be for kids or adults. So if you are going to make this for adults, you could definitely make this a vodka cranberry juice or anything like that. This is just a cran apple juice I'm using here, but what I'm going to do is pour some into my glass. And basically I was trying to give the essence of blood because it's red. You could definitely deepen this up with a little bit of, if you add just a tiny bit of blue and a little bit more red, you could deepen the color if you wanted. But I mean, honestly, it's fine, especially for a party. And then take the rest of your juice, and we're going to take a little bit of our black Brew Glitter or black luster dust, and we're going to add just a little bit in here. And I'm going to use my straw to mix this up. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. And if you really want to deepen the color of the black, you could always add a little bit of black food coloring. I feel like the black, as it sits, it definitely deepens up the color of your beverage. I'm going to add just a little bit of black regular luster dust, which should also darken it up some. Because with this, I kind of want to go with a poison effect. And then while it's swirling, you literally can just pour it into your glass. And you'll see it change from the red to our glittery, poisony black. So it's a really fun thing you could do at a party. You could have the drink mixed into two separate things, color one section, and then pour it in so that your guests can see that it changes the color, and then it adds that beautiful glitter. Now, I want to show you my signature fall drink that I like to serve at parties, get-togethers, and honestly, sometimes I just make it for me and my husband. So it has a base of apple cider. And then I like to take some sparkling cider, which I found these great little bottles of the sparkling cider at the dollar store of all places. But even the full-size bottle of the sparkling cider is only a couple dollars, and it is really yummy on its own as well. But I like to add some of that to it. And then I add some cream soda. And some classic caramel syrup. And basically what you get is a really great like caramel apple taste that has a little bit of a carbonation to it. So it's just a really refreshing, yummy fall drink. And then we mix that together. And then obviously at this point you could taste it and see if you wanted to add any more of any of those ingredients. Sometimes you can add a little bit of cinnamon if you want it to have a little bit more of a spiced vibe. I prefer not to add the cinnamon personally. And then if you were going for a non-alcoholic drink, this is done, and it's really yummy. And again, it's very fall, very refreshing. Now, if you wanted to make it an alcoholic beverage, you could add some spiced rum, like we're going to do here. Or like I said, you can add caramel or vanilla vodka. You could add bourbon. You could add whatever you'd like, depending on what kind of flavor profile you want. So I'm going to add some of our spiced rum in here. Now, the other thing you could do is if you wanted to make a batch of this non-alcoholic, and then you can just add a shot or two of the rum to whoever wants an alcoholic beverage, which is nice. And mix that up. And we have our yummy drink. Now, it's really easy to add a little bit of the Brew Glitter or luster dust to this, and you'll get a really great shimmery effect in this as well. So I'm going to add just a little bit of our gold luster dust here, but I have added orange Brew Glitter to this before too, and that is really pretty. It just kind of deepens up the color. It doesn't completely make it orange. But if we add some gold, it just adds a really pretty light shimmer to our drink. This would be really fun for a wedding or a baby shower, anything like that that would be fall themed, and it tastes really great. Now, I've showed you guys how to add some luster dust to drinks before. I will put a link to that up above and in the description. It was for my Felix Felicis cocktails and shooters, so I have, again, alcoholic and non-alcoholic versions on there for you. So if you want to check that out, that'll show you some other ideas of what you can do to make some magical beverages. So now that I've showed you how the luster dust works and my signature fall drink, I want to show you how adding a little bit of dry ice can be really, really cool. Now, I want to give you a couple safety tips about dry ice. One, never ever touch it with your bare hands. If you touch it for longer than 10 seconds, you're basically going to give yourself frostbite. It's going to feel like a burn. You are not going to like it. It's not good. So wear gloves or use tongs to handle the dry ice. The other thing is, it is completely safe for beverages. Now, if you're doing this with kids, don't put dry ice in their glass unless you get the specific glasses that have like a separate compartment that has like holes that will allow the dry ice to give its little smoky effect without the piece of dry ice coming up, because kids tend to try to get it out. And if you were to ingest it, it would basically give you burns all the way down. However, in a drink, it sinks right to the bottom. So for adults, it is completely safe, and it actually carbonates your beverage. So if you start with a uncarbonated beverage, when you use the dry ice, you're going to add carbonation to it, which is kind of cool. So just have those few tips in mind. Let your guests know that if you do put some dry ice into their beverage, that they don't want to ingest it. And honestly, it just adds a really cool effect, and it's super fun, especially for Halloween. So this has had the mica powder stop moving. It settled to the bottom. So I want to show you when we add the dry ice how it also will make the sparkle come back to life. Now I'm just using a small piece of dry ice here. And as you can see, it immediately starts bubbling and our glitter is starting to move. But you get this really great bubble sound as well as the smoke effect, and it just will push all of that glitter around, making it even more magical. And it cools your drink off at the same time, which is really cool. Unlike regular ice, it'll make it cold without diluting your beverage. And there you have it, a really easy way to make any cocktail or beverage extra magical, and an amazing way to make some edible potions. These would be really great for a Halloween party or a cosplay costume. And if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.